A big question raised by the Trump victory. What happens now to all the criminal charges still hanging over him, including the case in Fulton County?
Well, the president-elect had a lot on the line if he lost yesterday, including a criminal sentencing scheduled in New York later this month and federal prosecution over January 6th. He also faces an election interference case right here in Atlanta, which has been in limbo for months amid allegations of misconduct by the Fulton County DA.
Fox 5 High team reporter Johnny Edwards is here to explain what happens now in all of this. Johnny.
Well, Russ and Courtney, supporters of the president-elect called these cases lawfare, a barrage of court claims and prosecutions aimed at former President Trump after he left office. Whatever it was, legal experts say it's over. Donald Trump just became the first convicted felon ever elected president. He may also be the first person whose life got easier by becoming president.
Yeah, it's done. There's going to be no consequence, whether the allegations are true or not.
So it all just goes up in smoke.
Yes, it's just been a colossal waste of our Fulton County taxpayer dollars.
It had been complicated enough for prosecutors just going after an ex-president.
If your client does win election in 2024, could he even be tried in 2025?
The answer to that is, I believe that under the Supremacy Clause and his duties as President of the United States, this trial would not take place, if at all, until after he left his term of office.
If Trump's lawyers could postpone cases before, whether arguing for presidential immunity or attacking the Fulton County DA's integrity, Trump being commander-in-chief again becomes the final trump card. There was his sentencing in the Stormy Daniels hush money case, scheduled November 26. Don't expect that to go forward when his attorneys can argue the sentencing would interfere with a presidential transition. There's special counsel Jack Smith's attempt to prosecute Trump over his actions on January 6. Well, President-elect Trump can boot him and will probably name a new U.S. Attorney General who can drop any federal charges. That would still leave a criminal case pending at the state level, the one brought by a Fulton County grand jury accusing him of election interference, including that infamous call to Georgia's Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger.
I just want to find 11,780 votes, which is one more than we have.
But that case started unraveling this year amid allegations that DA Fani Willis financially benefited through a romantic entanglement with a lawyer she hired, Nathan Wade. A hearing is scheduled with the Georgia Court of Appeals on December 5th over efforts to disqualify Willis. Atlanta attorney Manny Arora represented Kenneth Chesborough, one of the 4 defendants in the Fulton County case who already took a plea deal.
Unfortunately, they took 2 years to bring it, or however much time it was. This just shows you, if you're going to bring charges, expedite it through and get the cases moving.
Also complicating the Fulton County case, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down a decision last summer that said presidents are immune from being prosecuted over official acts. So even if the case lives, it could still die if a judge rules that President Trump calling Raffensperger was an official act. What's certain, this is the first time America has elected a convicted felon to be president, and there's no precedent for how to handle it in the courts. Notably, while voters re-elected Donald Trump on Tuesday, they also re-elected DA Willis and State Senator Sean Still, one of Trump's co-defendants. Russ, Courtney?
Well, we were talking about this at 5 o'clock, just how incredible it is of a political comeback with all of these criminal cases and trials out there. But what about the civil cases? The E. Jean Carroll defamation case in which Trump had been held liable and had to pay her $88 million. Does that go away, or does he still have to pay that money?
No, he is still liable for that. Being elected president does not make that judgment go away. However, it's under appeal, and as Mr. Aurora pointed out in our interview, his MO has been to delay. So, you know, who knows when he'll have to pay it, if ever.
I think she's not holding her breath, I'm sure.
I'm sure.